Good
Hey,
afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Dr. Candace. How are you today? Welcome,
I
everybody,
am
to Mental Health
good.
Minute. How's it going?
It is good. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Dr. T. Everything is going good on my end, and welcome everyone to the Mental Health Minute. Yes, so it is going good. So, how's your Friday going, Dr. Tyra?
Oh, Friday is going good. I actually was out the house working today, so that was
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a corporate training earlier today, so that was awesome. I had a good
That's
time doing that, and so yeah, so my Friday is good. How about you? Because I know it's the V word for you,
Yes, it's
vacation.
vacation time. It is vacation time for me. I am doing great. I woke up and I feel amazing. I hurry up and drop my kids off because they thought they was gonna stay. I said, you out of here. You going to school today? Yeah, so it feels good. So I'm on my 2 week vacation, and everybody
Mhm.
that know, and for the ones that don't, let me tell you what I do. Every 3 months, I take a 2 week vacation for my mental and physical health, and it is amazing. And hopefully, everyone can get to the stage, even if it's 1 week or 2 week, because this is amazing what I did for myself and because I remember T back in the day, Dr. T, I remember crying for being so exhausted and
Uh-huh.
overwhelmed and burnout. You know, this feeling of
Mhm.
burnout, and
Mhm.
just working 6 and 7 days. I worked 6 days and only had
Mhm.
Sunday off. And then sometime I even worked on Sunday, but not seeing patients, but doing other things like admin
Mhm.
stuff. So just
Mhm.
working all the time, but I was burnt out. And the money wasn't
Mhm.
hitting different. And the money wasn't even different.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
now, since I've changed up some things from the beginning of the year, actually, I started with this vacation thing even last year. Probably a year and a half
Okay.
ago, I've been doing this, but I changed up some things and it has been amazing. And the
Mhm.
money is even better. And it's not even about the money, it's about my mental and physical state. But what I'm saying
That's
is,
great.
I didn't miss out on nothing and we still eating.
Oh,
We
hello.
still good. That's right.
Mhm.
So I am good. So hopefully everyone can get to the state because that is what the mental health minute is about. It's about mental and physical health. And you
Mhm.
get to a place in your life
Mhm.
where you don't have to overwork yourself because ain't no
Mhm.
U-Hauls at the cemetery. You can't take it with you. So you want to get to a place where you can rest. Absolutely.
That's
So I
great.
know that was my full, but that is my Friday. And that's the rest of my 2 weeks. That's how I'm feeling and what I'm doing.
I know that's right. Sounds good to me because my thing is I've always, been a firm believer of create the outlook that you want on your life, especially when it comes to professional life. I was like one that, I was like you. I worked 7 days a week. I've had, two and three and four jobs. I was working my business plus two and three other jobs, and it was just like maybe about I guess about 10 or 15 years ago, I had this epiphany like, okay, I'm not going to be doing this. I want one job that's going to take care of everything so that I don't have to have these part-time jobs. My thing is everything is a choice. And let it be a choice that I don't have to have a part-time job. I have a part-time job because I want to, not because I need to, because I need it to help me make ends meet. I want to have it so I can do extra stuff. And so when I decided to start working on finding that lane and creating that lane, I tell you, it was like nothing stopping me. But then after I got to that, Dr. Candice, let me tell you how I was like, this working 5 and 6 and 7 days, that ain't working for me either. I was like, what does my ideal work week look like? And that's when I said my ideal work week looked like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, having Mondays and Fridays off. But then I did that, and then my crazy behind started doing. Okay, I took Mondays and Fridays off, but then I started picking up work, doing things on Saturdays. So I said, "Oh, no, this ain't working." And so then last summer, my friend freaked out on me, and he goes, "You make absolutely no sense. You off Monday and Friday, and then you working on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. So where does that leave time to do other things? You need to start fixing your schedule again." And so I said, you know what? I sat back, I listened to what he said. I said, you know what? He's 100% right. Fix this schedule before it fix you. And that's when I
That's
made the
right.
decision to change the schedule. I changed the schedule up again. And that's when I was like, all right, we going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Mondays and Fridays off. But now here we are, 2022. Now I have Thursday, Friday off, Saturday, Sunday, every other Sunday. So I love that schedule. That schedule works for me.
That's good.
I'm liking that
So it's
right now.
working
So now I'm not doing every Sunday. I'm doing every other Sunday, and that's fine.
good. And it's working for you. That's
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yes.
You're happy. You at a good place in your career,
Yes.
and that's good. That's good. I'm so
Yep.
happy for you, and me
Yep.
too. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I got the schedule down, and that's what we need because as we're gonna talk about for our main topic when we get there,
Yeah.
that can cause depression.
It can. It really
It
can.
can. And we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna chime on that. The audience will know about that. That can cause and
Mm-hmm.
burnout can turn into depression real quick. You go from
Yes.
stress to burnout to
Mm-hmm.
anxiety. Now here goes depression, tapping you on your shoulder. It can turn into
Okay.
that real quick. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I am so glad that the
Yep.
ladies of the Mental Health Minute got their schedules down packed, and we're working because we want to. Even though we got to
Mm-hmm.
eat, wait a minute now, we got bills, but then we actually
Hello.
doing what we love. We doing what we love,
Right.
and we doing it from a comfortable level. Because it's one thing
Exactly.
to do what you love, but don't like how you're doing it because you're feeling burnt out. Because that is where I
Yes.
was. So I was
Right.
like, I love what I do, but I'm not liking how I'm doing it. And I was crying. I was, the depression
Mm-hmm.
was coming in. The depression
Mm-hmm.
was looking at me like, we going to be together. We going to be together because this is it. Yeah, so I
Right.
get it. I get it, T.
Mm-hmm.
So I am so glad, Dr. T, that we finally got it together. And hopefully
Yeah.
our audience will get it together. And hey, D, thank you for joining us and welcome, welcome, welcome. So as everyone know that we do every week,
Hey,
we come
T.
on, D, you came right on time because it's time to slide into the tea with Dr. T.
Yes. All right. So now it is tea time, y'all, and I got my teacup right here. Yes, yes, yes. So today we're going to talk about so today's tea is going to be it's been a number of things happening all week, and some of them good, some of them bad, but I'm only going to highlight a couple of the, most I'm going to say partially good ones, the ones that was bad, but so the one story I want to highlight is, girl, my favorite talk show. I was feeling the Nick Cannon talk show. And so it came out on Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday, that they was canceling the Nick Cannon show. So I said, wait a minute. And he was on Fox every day at 12 noon here in Philadelphia. And I think he must have had that 12 o'clock slot across the board in a number of markets, right? But I love the show. He actually has a catchy jingle at the end of his show. It's called the sing along. And it's sing along. Girl, you find yourself singing that song all day long. And
Really?
he plays the piano, and it's a sing along song to the point where such a catchy tune, it's addictive. And so to hear that he got canceled was like, are you serious right now? But when I look at how things, go with television, that time slot they gave him was 12 noon. Folks
Yeah.
are not home to watch that show. But as we all know, Nick Cannon is a very, very, very savvy business person, right?
Absolutely.
So we was happened to be watching Nick Cannon show yesterday, right? St. Patrick's Day. And they were running a rerun on Fox of his show. Well, turned on VH1 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was the current episode.
Oh.
You don't have to wait to the end of the year to cancel me. You can cancel me now and I'll take my show to a new network.
Wow.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
I
I'm right. That's why it's called the Tea with Dr. T. One, I knew he had a show, but I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but do I like Nick
Mm,
Cannon? Absolutely. Girl,
mm.
and like you said, he's gonna make a comeback, and he did. Look how quick that is.
Yeah,
Now
he
you know
didn't even 2
he
days.
the Black Ryan Seacrest. You know he gonna get a
Hello.
shot.
Hello. And I was like, and it was just like, we looked, and it was just like, and it was like, okay, 2 days this week, our old show ran on Fox, but the new show ran on VH1. And I said, wait a minute, I never heard of two of them have a connection as far as those. I said, okay, so y'all heads this brother up, and this brother knew what to do. Okay, that's what That's when you gotta start using these. When you start getting the window open to tell you, okay, you're going to be canceled. Okay, you ain't got to tell me. I'll make a move on my own. And that's how people should live their life with businesses
Absolutely.
as well. When you're working a regular 9 to 5, if you see that it's a chance that you're going to be exiting out the window, have your exit strategy, have your exit plan all together so that you can make that transition without any issues, without losing any money, and
Yeah,
without losing any sleep. He didn't
absolutely.
lose no money, and he's not losing any sleep. And
Absolutely.
now, and guess what? The episodes are still going on.
I love it. Go ahead, Nick. So I'm proud of
Yeah,
Nick Cannon. You're right. Because you're right.
yeah,
Losing sleep, losing money, also tainting
yeah.
mental health. Because if when you lose things and that's a sign of rejection when they cancel
Yes,
your show. And that could have
yes,
tainted his mental health. He could,
yes,
taint his self-esteem. Like, damn, I was on a good show because Fox is a good show now. I mean, a
yes,
network. Now, sometimes
yes.
we as minorities may have problems with them. That's another
Right,
topic. But
right.
they are reputable.
Mhm,
They
mhm,
are a reputable network.
mhm.
So to be
Right.
on there and to get canceled, it
Mhm,
can taint your self
mhm.
esteem or maybe his work or ethic or whatever. And it didn't
Yeah.
because he had his exit plan together. And you're absolutely
Mhm,
right. I think more people should do that for their lives because I know that's what the Mental Health Minute doing. And so come on, enjoy us right now on these platforms because when
mhm.
we're on VH1, because we will, I'm speaking it
Right.
until I'm speaking
Speaking
it
into
in.
existence.
We gonna be on the network, and D, you're gonna be
Mhm.
in the front row. We flying
Yep.
you out.
Ah, and
Yeah.
so yeah, so I thought that was interesting this week, because like I said, I love that show. I've been on his show as a virtual guest for maybe two
Yes.
or three times where I've been in the
Okay.
audience. And
I
so
love
I
it.
just, so yeah. And so my next tea for the day is the woulda, coulda, shoulda from V103 Atlanta. Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
Let's hit the
So
tea.
this person wrote into them and said, I met this guy on Facebook and we've been out a few times. Recently, we started asking more personal and sexual questions about each other, and I found out he's still a virgin. It's not like we're super young. He's 31. I'm no spring chicken when it comes to the bedroom, so I don't know if I want all of that pressure if we ended up having sex. Mm.
Oh,
So that was
actually,
a hell of a question, right?
it was. Now, for some people, it may be one way, but for me, on a personal level, I like challenges. And
Okay.
I will be like, okay, now, actually, I will admire that, to be
Mhm.
honest.
Mhm.
I will, especially being a man and his
Mhm.
age. And that's
Mhm.
something I would admire. So I'd be like,
Mhm.
that's something I would inquire about. I find that interesting. So I would ask more
Mhm.
questions. And I hope he
Mhm.
shared, like, why and
Mhm.
what made you hold out,
Right.
things like that.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't run from it. That's me
Right.
personally. I wouldn't
Mhm.
run from it, but I do understand what she's saying because it is a lot of pressure because she's the first. But
Right.
guess what?
Mhm.
To whoever wrote that in or whoever may feel I don't want to be the first, why not? He ain't got nothing to
Right.
compare to. He ain't got, so he can't say you doing it wrong. Well, how he know? He ain't got nothing to compare to.
Not a thing.
Yeah. Unless he
Not a
watched
thing.
something on TV or a video or something. But other than that, girl, what he gonna compare it to his hand? That's another topic. But he ain't got nothing to compare it to. So girl, you go ahead and enjoy that man and y'all continue and you let it blossom into something and maybe go out to dinner and keep doing what you're doing. And that's not a deal breaker for me. I mean, if it's a
Right.
deal breaker for her and a sister watch this
Mhm.
show, let me tell you, girl, live your life. You live every
Yeah.
day, you die once. And this man ain't got nothing to compare you to when it comes
Right.
to sexual activity. So don't run from
Right.
it. Here you go.
That's right. My thing is go with the flow. Do what you got to do.
Exactly.
Do what you got to do. I mean,
Yeah. So what's your opinion
if
on
that's
that?
what makes you happy, would you say?
What's your opinion? Would that be a deal breaker? How would you feel if you were in that situation?
I probably would. That would be a go with flow moment. That would be a go with the flow moment.
Yeah.
Definitely, because the thing is, you don't want to. I would say it depends on the individual, whoever the person is, because at the end of the day, some people, might be shallow or
Yeah.
might have. their disposition might be off, and you like, oh, that's why you by yourself, and that's why you haven't had any type of interactions. And so with that, just I would just take that into consideration. That just be mindful of that.
Hmm.
So I mean, but my thing is, I would make it on an individual basis.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just
Mhm.
remember, he has nothing to compare it to.
Right.
And if he does,
Nothing.
then it's like, so did you lie? If he, because if he was to say,
Mhm.
I don't think it, well, it wasn't what I expected. What
Mhm.
did you expect? Because that's like if
Mhm.
I've never eaten sushi before. The
Right.
cuteness because
Mhm.
I'm vegetarian and I don't eat fish. So say, but I've had sushi when I did eat things like that. And
Mhm.
say I say, oh,
Right.
I don't want that. That's nasty. Well, how you know?
Mhm.
You've never tasted it.
Mhm. Right.
See, yeah. So he wouldn't
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. He wouldn't know. All right.
Yes,
So my
absolutely.
yeah. So my last tea for the day, and I thought this was interesting. So I've noticed on a number of platforms, folks were talking about. So there's a payment processor called Klarna, and there's one called Sezzle and Afterpay and things like that. So and PayPal actually has it too. So what I found out recently was that Klarna will allow customers to purchase gas in installments because of the gas prices being so high. Now, with when you get Klarna and Sezzle, Afterpay, PayPal for installments, you get four installments to pay on a product. So, for example, if the product is $100, they break that $100 product down into installments of $25 each. Okay, so the question is, right? Would you want to have that type of installments on the gas that you purchase for your car, knowing that this is a situation that you'll be paying for gas all the time? You know what I mean? And you'll look up and your Klarna bill will be just as high as it would be if you pay up front. Now, in my opinion, I feel that you should pay for it up front, pay for your
Hmm.
gas up front. But I do know that there are situations where people might not have it all at once. But the idea that, paying for Klarna on a layaway plan, because that's pretty much what you might say, is a layaway, which you buy now, you get it, buy now, get it now, pay for it later type of deal,
Hmm.
right? Because all you're paying for is
Hmm.
the first installment. Certain items I feel that you should pay for upfront. And
Absolutely.
gas and food are one and two that I feel should be paid for upfront. I don't know about you, Dr. Candace, but I don't want to see gas or food next month or 2 months.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I ate it now, I want it to be gone now. Like I
Yes.
don't want to
I
have to
totally
keep going
agree.
back and forth.
Absolutely. I totally agree. My opinion on that one, wow, I'm taken aback
Mhm.
by that because I do have Sezo for a lot of my things, such as my classes and different courses and stuff where people can go. So I am a merchant of theirs where you can
Mhm.
purchase my books and different things and pay with Sezo.
Right.
So I like that part. Now, with the gasoline, I'm with you. When it comes to gas and food, absolutely not. Now, I will say this here, I go being devil's advocate. Y'all know this every week. For the
Mhm.
commuter, if you live in Philly and you work
Mhm.
downtown Manhattan and you ain't catching the bus and you drive, then you got to take
Mhm.
kids to school. So something like that. So it has to be an emergency. It should be maybe a one-time thing if you can do
Right.
it. But I definitely agree with you. Pay
Mhm.
for your gas up front because that's where financial literacy come in. And I think
Hello.
more should be more
Mhm.
educated on financial literacy.
Mhm.
Since we things have are inflated now, and so it calls for a lifestyle change. That's all. You can still do what you do, but we have to make some adjustments. That's all. Instead of grub hubbing every week or 5 times a week, since gas prices has elevated, you may say, I'm a grub hub on a Friday. I'm gonna treat myself because I worked all week, but I'm gonna cook and I'm gonna take my lunch. You know what I'm saying? So you go cook enough so you can take your lunch to work so you don't have to bad like that. So it's just a lifestyle change. Because when it comes to, I totally agree with you, with gasoline and food and different stuff like that, that's a one and done. Because those are essentials. We need gas to keep the car running and we need food to keep us fuel because those are two fuels that we need, gasoline and food. And you don't want to be in debt and have a credit for something that you need to keep you going. Food and gasoline. Those are fuels for both. Fuel
Yes.
for the body and what is fuel for the car. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to have to swipe a credit card and it says decline. So you want to say, you know what, I'm going to go and do this. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where financial literacy comes in. So I totally agree with you. So to the people that's like, oh, I like that. I can get that. Also, let me ask too, Dr. Tyra, is there,
Mm-hmm.
are they charging interest? Because I do that when
You know
you,
what? Klarna, no, I don't think they do.
okay, because if you do a payment
Mm-hmm.
plan personally,
Mm-hmm.
we'll walk through consulting, and it's a payment plan. If
Mm-hmm.
one and done, if what I'm
Mm-hmm.
selling is $100, but you want a
Mm-hmm.
payment plan, you gonna get it for maybe 135, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a payment plan. So I got to tag
Mm-hmm.
on interest because you're not buying it one and done.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, who wants interest on gas?
Hello.
Okay,
Yeah, but to my knowledge, I don't believe it's interest. I believe it's
okay.
just the whole breakup of the payments. Now, depending on where you have that payment coming to, because that's where the interest comes in at, right? So
Okay.
if you have the interest, if you have the payment broken down going to a credit card, then you got the credit card interest, right? But here's
Yeah.
the thing that people don't realize that interest triples at that point, right? Or four-way interest. Because let's say you have it sent straight to your credit card, right? And that's interest on that payment, on that amount, right? For month one, month two, month three, and month four. So the interest is mounting up on all four of those payments because the credit card might not be paid.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm
it's
with
a
you.
whole racket. So it's one thing if you're paying for, if you send in the payments to an ATM card, to a debit card where it's coming right out of your checking.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're sending the card, sending it to a credit card, you're now that $100 tank of gas is probably going to end up costing you about $125 before it's all over, or maybe a little bit more than that, depending on the interest
Exactly.
charges. Because what the interest be like 28.9%, something high
Mm-hmm.
like that is like that you have to deal with. So that's definitely something that needs to be taken into consideration.
Okay,
So
yeah. So
yeah.
I'm with you.
Hmm.
When it comes to things like that, food and gas, like you said it, that was beautifully said. You said if I'm gonna eat it now, I'm gonna pay for it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, it's crazy, And Dee was saying, yes, I definitely have enough credit cards maxed out. And then she said some of them credit cards are 24.9% and even higher. Yes. Yeah. So,
See,
so
and
with
who wants to
knowing
pay it
that,
on gas? Because it is, see,
but paying
it's a
it full
commodity.
time
That's
and
right.
paying
It's
it
a
full time.
commodity, but it's something that goes away. See, it's not
Hmm.
like a diamond ring because you can have
Hmm.
forever. It's gasoline.
Hmm.
After you go from
Right.
point A to point
Hmm.
A, B, C,
Hmm.
and D, now you got to put more
Hmm.
gas in the car. That's the type
Right.
of commodity that is. That's a commodity.
Hmm.
It's gonna
Yep.
it's gonna go away. Absolutely. So no,
Yep.
I don't think that's a good idea, but it was smart
Right.
on a business idea from them. But it's not a good
Yes.
idea for us consumers. So I'm going
Right.
to be one to stay away from that. What about you, Dr. T? I'm staying away
I'm
from that one.
staying up. Look, I use them for some things, not using it for that. I take exit
Yeah,
stage left on that one because I'm not doing that.
absolutely, because that would cause anxiety and a whole bunch of depression. If I
Hello.
look at my credit card statement and they say, because sometimes things happen. Come on now, this is a mental health minute. Some things happen and life happens and kicks in, and we get overwhelmed and things don't get paid. That's just what it is.
Correct.
I don't
It
want to look
happens.
at my bill and I owe $300 in gas and I already been to point A and point B. Ain't planning on going back. What? What? It ain't like a purse where I can still be cute and carry it. That was gas and I just drove out.
And
So now
that's
I'm
what
up
we
in
got to think
there.
about, girl. That's what we got to think about financial boundaries.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're going to get into that next week. You're absolutely right. That
Yes.
boundaries, financial
Hmm.
boundaries. Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
exactly. So I'm going to
Yes.
give y'all so that is the tea with Tyra today, but I'm going to give y'all the tweezer for next week on our show next.
Yes. I
Yes.
can't
So
wait.
yeah,
Wait.
so that's our teaser for next week on boundaries. That's going to be a very good topic, because boundaries is on so many levels. social media, financial, family,
Hmm.
relationships.
Yes, work boundaries. And
Oh,
also, yes, work boundary and also personal boundaries with self. I can't wait till next week. Next week is, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
yes.
for this week, let's just slide on into our topic this week because we talked a little bit about it. We brought up the word 4 times, and it is depression. But what we're talking about this week is bipolar disorder. Bipolar
Mhm.
disorder. So let's get into our topic. So what is bipolar disorder? So
All
I'm
right.
just going to start it off. Bipolar
Yeah, I'm
disorder
gonna
is
show the video. I can show the
okay.
video, give them a little headline of what we're
There
talking
you
about
go.
today.
And then I'm gonna come in and talk about it. Let's do it.
All right, let's. Oh, what a. Okay. All
Yes.
right, Dr. Candace, give us the
Yes.
411 on
Yes.
bipolar
With bipolar.
disorder.
Absolutely. Bipolar disorder, as you saw the video to the audience and to everyone, as you saw the video, bipolar disorder is a brain disorder that causes unusual shifts within you, within your mood, your energy, and your ability to function. Bipolar disorder, it goes from extremes, from mania to depression. And also, did you know more than 2 million Americans, adults, battle with bipolar disorder? It is often, I mean, often misdiagnosed, misdiagnosed a lot. So it's misdiagnosed. And also, there's no cure for it, but you can live a good quality life with bipolar disorder. I want people to know that. Bipolar disorder is misdiagnosed because it has depression. It is a mood disorder, and depressive, major depressive disorder, but on a higher scale. And there's different types. You have bipolar 1 and you have bipolar 2. So we're going to get into that today. The differences, I'm going to tell you really quickly, the differences between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. Bipolar 1 is manic or mixed episodes, and that is when it's elevated, may have other mood disorders and mood changes. And bipolar 2 is more depressive episodes and hypermania episodes, and never really have mania. So hypomania is low and mania is high. So for the viewers, I want you to know there's a difference between 1 and 2, a big difference, and we're going to get into that as well. So, Dr. T, as you being one of the experts here and working with
Hmm.
all types of patients, what is
Hmm.
your view on bipolar disorder?
Well, number one, I feel that, at some point within these past few years, I'm going to say around 10 years ago, I felt like with bipolar disorder, they were using that diagnosis when a lot of professionals could not diagnose an individual's behaviors based off of the mannerisms and the things that they were doing. I felt
Mhm.
like it was overused. I felt like, do some research, learn what the person is going through, and being able to identify all of the behaviors and not just labeling a person as bipolar. Because I've seen a number of people have gone throughout life with the label as being bipolar disorder, and they might not have the symptoms. Now symptoms for bipolar disorder are feeling sadness, hopelessness, irritable most of the time, lack of energy, difficulty concentrating and remembering things, loss of interest in everyday activities, feelings of emptiness and worthlessness, feelings of guilt and despair, feeling pessimistic about everything, and having a lot of self doubt. Now, I've seen, individuals have those types of symptoms. And granted, those that are experiencing that, you know, we will say, okay, yes, they have a form of bipolar disorder. But when a person is diagnosed with that, right? If they're not really, if the professional who's diagnosing doesn't really go in depth to identify all of the issues that that individual may be experiencing, it's, you know, they will be labeled as being bipolar without having knowing exactly everything that's really going on with them. You know what I mean? Because it could be manic depressive. It could be, you know, it could be a number of things, but we need to know if there hypomania there. We need to know if it's any form of psychosis, paranoia, you know, and that's something that we need to know, you know, as professionals, you know, with diagnosing, know what's wrong with our clients.
Absolutely. I totally agree. You're absolutely right. And with that, and Dr. Tyra is absolutely right with that. And with all of the symptoms that she named, how we are able to diagnose, and she's right when she said a lot of mental health professionals were not able to diagnose or they were misdiagnosing or couldn't diagnose at all. How we are able to diagnose now, you have to have those symptoms for a certain period of time. You can't have those symptoms and say, I felt like this for 2 days and now I'm good. That ain't bipolar. You have to, and it's unfortunate, there's no blood test, there's no lab testing that we can do to say, okay, you're diagnosed with this and this is what you have. So it is for the length of time for bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. And we watch your symptoms and watch what's going on. And there is a difference. Like I said, with mania, you're feeling up and you're jumpy, you're elated, you have trouble sleeping, you're irritable, reckless behavior. And if we was just to name these symptoms like I just said and you just did, Dr. Tyra, half of the people I know feel this way but don't have bipolar. However, it has to be a certain amount of time. Now with hypomania, it is less severe form of mania. You may feel great but highly productive and function well at times, but on other times you feel down. And that's normal. Some people that will watch this show and say, I felt like that. Absolutely. But like I stated, it has to be for a certain length of time. So that is one of the questions. That is one of the questions, and that was beautifully said. Now let me ask as well for myself and for you too, Dr. Tyra. What do you find it difficult treating individuals with bipolar?
You know what? I don't. I don't find it difficult with treating people with bipolar. With I think with them it's just like with any other diagnosis. You know, you definitely handle everybody with care, but being able to allow them, you know, people who are experiencing that, a moment to be able to discuss what they're feeling, being able to talk about that, because see, that's the thing that happens. You know, people feel like they're not being heard, and you know, and the goal is to allow them that moment of being heard and helping them with finding coping skills as well as the tools that they can use for them to be their most productive selves and make them feel good about themselves. You know, because sometimes people go through things and, you know, granted, everybody has a moment, you know, but just being able to identify that moment and being able to help them cope with it, you know, in their best possible way. You know, people with bipolar are capable of having relationships. They are capable of doing things, you know, as what people say normal, which normal to me
Mhm.
is not normal because everybody is the same, you know, when it comes to certain things. You know, there's no such thing as normal in my world. So,
Ab- Absolutely.
what
I
about you,
totally
Dr.
agree.
Candace?
Yes, for me, the question was, have I found it difficult treating individuals with bipolar disorder? In the past, no, because I was brick and mortar and I was in front of them. It has become a little difficult now because I am virtual. A lot with it's unless I'm at the hospital, I'm at the clinic, it's a little different. But because of virtual therapy and counseling now, due to the pandemic, it has become a little difficult for me because I'm not there and I'm not able to really do the body language, see the body language, and keep an eye on them and see them weekly like I would like to. So for the ones that I do see weekly, but it's virtual, I ask and I send over a mood chart and I ask them to write down their moods. And I have the times, the date, and how they feel, and I make it simple for them. Maybe it's high, low, sad, happy, depressed. I need to know because it's one thing when they come to me and they haven't been diagnosed, but we are throwing up quotes, think that they may are battling with bipolar disorder. How would I know? Because I'm not there. And if they, You know this too, Dr. T. The patient can say, I'm all right, and they're not all right. How do we know? Or they can say they have had manic episodes when which it's not, and they're describing something and they're not describing it correctly. So it has become difficult, but I've learned how to maneuver through it with different mood charts and seeing those patients on a weekly basis now rather than every 2 weeks or monthly. So I can keep steady with it. So it had become a little difficult because I'm not seeing them in person, and you want them to open up, and a lot of times people don't want to tell you exactly what's going on due to shame, embarrassment, or they want to feel that they have it when they don't. Want to feel that they have it together. That's what I mean when they don't. So it's been just a little difficult at that point. At that point. So let me ask Dr. T, because this is bringing a lot of light to the audience as well, from if
Hmm.
they are battling or suffering with bipolar or have
Hmm.
family members, what
Hmm.
is one of the hardest assessments or challenges that you have found to deal or to, handle or care for someone that's battling with bipolar disorder? What has been a challenging for you?
I think for me the challenge would be, I would say, uh, with having an individual with having the racing thoughts and the rapid flight of ideas. The ideas I can somewhat handle, is just the racing thoughts. Because the thing is, it's like wanting to fix, because, as therapists, we think we can fix everything, but we know that we can, but I think for me, that's the difficult piece of treating someone with bipolar disorder, because it's just like trying to help them to calm the thoughts down so that they can focus on one thing at a time. When we know sometimes that can be very, very difficult, with trying to, because the thing is, you're not trying to control the person, but what you want to do is you want to help them to be able to gain some kind of calmness, some kind of peace, so that they can start thinking more rationally. Because when you have racing thoughts, sometimes those racing thoughts can turn into irrational thoughts, and the thing is, we don't want that to happen. You know what I mean? We don't want them to get to that peace, you know. What do
Absolutely.
you, yeah, what do you think, Dr. Candace?
What has been challenging for me treating someone is the honesty. The
Mhm.
honesty, because
Mhm.
we're not with our patients 24/7. We're
Mhm.
not with and this is true story, uh,
Mhm.
caring for someone with bipolar disorder, and when they in mania and they're
Mhm.
spending all of their money and they doing all these things, and their family reach out to me, which their family was given consent, and I was given consent
Mhm.
where we could communicate
Mhm.
because of the nature of the client, and they say, "Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't do that." The honesty was a challenge when they are in mania, but they're not owning up to it. So it's been the
Mhm.
honesty and acceptance, but I have been able
Mhm.
to get through that and get through to them that I'm here to help. I'm not the enemy. And also explaining to them that it's not your fault. You are battling with the disorder. So, and it's a brain disorder. And so you have these certain moods and these certain shifts. So I had to explain to the client, to the patient, it's not your fault. You are not yourself when you are in mania. You are not yourself when you are in hypomania. This is something that you have. This is not who you are. So once we got through that bridge, they were able to have that acceptance and that honesty and be able to come and say, okay, I'm going to be honest with you, Dr. C. I did run up my credit card. And we talked about that a little bit earlier with the tea with Dr. T. I did run up my credit card. I did do this. I did do that. Because when you're in mania, sometimes those are some of the side effects where you're out and you doing everything and you just like, oh my God, why did I do that? You got a box full of receipts. And all of that happened in mania because you shopping on Amazon. And your family is like, okay, they out of control. And that's not for everyone, but that's just some of the symptoms. And I want to go over some of the signs again with mania: extremely high energy, a grandiose level of self esteem, loud, rapid speech, very little. Either you don't need sleep or you're not sleeping at all, and risky behavior, inappropriate sexual activities. That's some. That's not all, and it's not for everyone. So this can change. Now, with the hypomania, such as the depression, when you're hypo, it's feeling very lethargic, physically and mentally, a sense of personal worthlessness, and also eating too much or too little, overwhelming sadness, and thoughts of suicide. And I have saw that as well with mania. There, the thoughts of suicide were not there, but with the depression side of it and hypomania, it is. Hypo is less, absolutely. So those are just a couple of the signs that I saw going through it. So what do you think? So your professional opinion for the audience as well and for the viewers. What do you think, Dr. T? Your
Hmm.
professional opinion could
Hmm.
what are some of the treatments that you use within your practice or some of the treatments you think that will help individuals with bipolar disorder?
One of the treatments I use, I always go, my number one go to is cognitive behavioral therapy. I always, go to CBT when I'm helping individuals with bipolar disorder because I feel as though with using that modality, I'm able to have, allow the person to talk to me about their feelings, talk to me about the behaviors that they are experiencing. And this way I can provide tools for them to help them with navigating through the challenges that comes through. I do a lot of solution focused therapy is a lot of the things that I do in my practice. And I also do a lot of reality based therapy,
Love it.
because my thing is I want people to be able to face their truths and understand exactly what it is they're doing and help them to see, to get rid of their irrational thoughts and to understand exactly what it is we need to do so that they can live a productive life.
Love it.
What about you,
Absolutely.
Dr. Candace? What
For
about you?
me,
What do you use?
I have four that I go to. The first one is psychotherapy, talk therapy, and talk therapy. And I like what is it? It's acceptance therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, because you have to accept there is something wrong. You have to accept that. Acceptance is number one. Then we have to commit to getting better, commit to want to getting better. Yes, so I use that as well. But talk therapy is very good. Cognitive behavior therapy, all of that is very good. My second one I go to is support. Anyone that's battling, and we all need support, but we're talking about for the sake of this show, bipolar one and bipolar two, bipolar disorder. Support, support, support. You need a support system, and it's more than just Jesus and your therapist. You need a support system. You need family, friends, whoever you're with, your loved one, your partner, your significant other. They need to be part of the support system because when you are in either mania, a hypomania, whatever it may be, they need to know and understand how to deal with that. They can't always call myself, Dr. T, or 911. They need to be able to say, okay, wait a minute. I know the tools and tips. I know what to do. So support from family, friends, your peers, therapists, even support groups. So that's my number two. My number three is lifestyle change. So anyone that is battling with bipolar disorder, whether it be one or two, lifestyle change is important because again, this is something you have. This is not who you are, but lifestyle change will help you battle through this so you can live a good quality life. That's such as exercise, eating healthy, going to your therapy sessions. Don't miss your therapy sessions. Talk therapy is good. You need us. I think it's good. And getting regular sleep and keeping stress to a minimum because stress is the number one. I like to think, I don't know if you agree with this, Dr. T, is the number one trigger for anybody with any type of disorder, especially bipolar. It's a trigger for that. Absolutely. And number four will be medications. Number four will be medication for me. Medication, I'm on the fence with it, but when it comes to certain disorders, it's absolutely needed. It depends on the severity. So those are my treatments for that as well. Absolutely. And I see what Dee wrote about
Hmm.
Silver Lining Playbook. I saw the movie.
Hmm.
It was amazing.
Hmm. Yes.
It was
Hmm.
amazing. Absolutely.
Hmm.
It was amazing.
Yes.
So, what is your last word, or what else do you have to say about
No,
bipolar disorder?
My final word for bipolar disorder, I would say, is know that there is help out there for it. Just be receptive of it. Know that that you are capable of being loved. Know that don't push people away. Don't push people away. Know that there are people out there for you that are rooting for you. Know that there are people that won't abandon you. Know that there are people there that will ride for you. And know that they are people who find you important, and know that these are all things that is something good to say to someone, because the thing is, when somebody is facing any type of mental health crises, the first thing they look to is people to abandon them. And we don't want anyone to feel abandoned. Know that there are people out here that will care for you, and people out here that will help you, especially in your darkest moments. Dr.
Absolutely.
Candace, what is your final word?
Absolutely. Beautifully said. I totally agree. I'm going to piggyback off my colleague and my sister, Dr. Tara, is absolutely right. Know that there are people out there that care about you. However, allow people to love on you. Let people in. Let people in. And if you feel that you have some of these symptoms that we described here, and they have been prolonged longer than 2 weeks or more, please talk to somebody and get help, and a mental health professional where they are able to do an assessment so you can see where you are if you are battling with bipolar 1 or bipolar 2. Again, it is something that you may have, but is not who you are. Also, there are natural things that you can do if you are one that is battling with it. Ginseng is a good one. St. John's wort, and don't forget lifestyle changes and support. Those are four good things that can actually help you. If you are one that is prone and not an advocate for medication, those are some things that you can do. Lifestyle change, support, St. John's wort, and ginseng. So that is my last word. Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. This is an awesome show today.
Yes. So we want to thank you. This has been the Mental Health Minute. Please tune in with us next week where we will be talking about all things boundaries. We're going to talk about financial boundaries, relationship boundaries, personal boundaries, everything boundaries. Boundaries is good, and boundaries actually go with this show as well because boundaries is part of having self care. Self care is taking care of your mental health and your physical health. So if you are battling with anything or bipolar,
Hmm.
let people in, let people love on you, and take care of yourself. I am Dr. Candace Elaine.
And I am Dr. Tyra, and I'm going to give us a few words from our sponsors.
Yay!
Yay! All right, everyone. Well, we want to thank you all for tuning in. We want you all to have an awesome and blessed weekend. Take the time to relax, chill, and just do what you got. Do all things amazing. See all of you next week.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.